If you have fine hair, you've probably experienced days when your hair, your curls are soft. Now, we all want soft hair, of course, way better than coarse, dry, straw-like. But this kind of softness is the softness of curls that are limp, flat, don't want to hold on to volume. They might be prone to static electricity. They're just kind of limp and wispy instead of full, voluminous, and soft. So there's a couple different kinds of softness here, and the soft where your hair is so soft it falls flat and can't hold on to volume, that's the softness that's gone a little bit too far that I'm going to help you with today. Because there are things you can do about this. Yes. So first, make sure that you're not over moisturizing. You can do this with rich and heavy conditioners, masks, shampoos that aren't cleansing enough. It's just when there's an overabundance of rich and heavy moisturizers, or it can even be an overabundance even just for you. It's not necessarily too much for somebody else, but it's just too much for you. Then your hair would be considered over moisturized, and the tendency then is for it to be limp and flat. And if you have curls or waves, for them to have a really hard time being strong and as curly as their natural potential. Heavy shampoos, conditioners, masks, leave-in conditioners, hydrating curl creams, even hydrating gels. These all can be over moisturizing, especially when you're using a lot of them and you're dealing with this problem of too soft. I'm not saying you shouldn't moisturize, but I'm saying don't over moisturize. This actually is one of the problems with the curly girl routine as it was introduced years and years ago for people with fine hair like me, and it's why the curly girl method didn't quite work for me. First of all, you're co-washing, which is kind of like washing with conditioner and not really cleansing enough, so you're getting a buildup of oils and creams on your hair as time goes by, which leads to over moisturizing, flatness, and limpness. The other part of the curly girl routine is we were all encouraged to, after we condition our hair, to leave it in or leave some of it in. Well, if you have fine hair, this is a recipe for disaster, and it equals flat. It also equals greasy and built up hair. So again, depending on your hair type, you got to find the right balance of moisturizing where you're not left flat, limp, and over moisturized. If you do have fine hair or you don't have that much hair, you're probably going to err on the side of volumizing products. And these volumizing products, whether it's shampoo or conditioner or styling products that say they promote volume, probably do have hydrating ingredients as well. They're just not heavy. So they're lightly hydrating to help you preserve your volume. When you're picking your products, choose volumizing products, but you can also scan the list of ingredients. And among the first 5 or so ingredients, there shouldn't be any heavy creams or butters. The second thing you can do is to make sure your products include enough protein. Protein provides the structure and the strength of your hair, and you want to find the right amount for you and also in balance with moisturizing. Moisture and protein balance together for balanced hair. You can over moisturize, you can over protein, you can under moisturize, you can under protein. So it's all about finding the right balance. How do you get your protein? Well, there are topical treatments, so protein treatments. I'm sure you've heard of ladies who do their weekly or their monthly protein treatment. That's the idea here. I have a couple that I love that work very well for me. You'll also find protein in some conditioners, masks, as well as even styling products like curl creams and gels that contain protein ingredients. These products will contain hydrating ingredients as well, but they have protein. And if your hair needs protein, which soft and limp curls could be a sign of this, then it can be beneficial to rotate in or out 1 or 2 products containing protein into your wash day routine and your styling routine. Again, just like moisture products, you don't want to overdo the protein. Most people are looking for protein in 1 or 2 of their products, but not all. So for me, for instance, I look for protein in my conditioner at least if I'm not doing a topical treatment. And I also look for protein in at least one of my styling products. Then I'm getting a good balance, but I'm not overdoing the protein. I really like using a conditioner or a mask on every wash day where it contains protein, because then I'm just getting regular protein infusing into my routine, because I do think my hair tending toward fineness and also being high porosity with some really dried out portions and some areas where the curls are just not as strong, I think I benefit from protein on a regular basis, and I can get it in balance with moisturizing as long as I don't overdo. So for me, that works well. And lately I've been experimenting with styling products containing protein, and I do think I get some really strong curls when especially my gel has some protein, but I don't have everything containing protein because, again, you don't want too much. You'll know you have too much protein when your hair starts moving toward brittle, feeling like straw or dry. The easy thing to do is just have a wash day where you cleanse and then don't go so heavy on the protein next time. You can also, if you're not quite at a wash day, I've had to do this where I'm like, oh, I did my hair today and we got way too much protein, so it's feeling a little stiff and brittle. On the next day when I refreshed, I used hydrating ingredients with water to refresh my hair and it just softened it back up. So none of this is permanent. It's all about finding the right balance for you as you find your hydration level that works for your hair and the protein level that works for your hair. It's just such an adventure. That's the only thing I can say about it. If I wanted to stay positive, is it's an adventure. How do you know if your products contain protein? What I do is look at the ingredients. That's if the product itself doesn't say contains protein. So I look at the ingredients and I'm looking for words like silk amino acids, soy amino acids, hydrolyzed quinoa, hydrolyzed something. Also, extracts can be a sign of protein depending on what it's attached to. So maybe it says rice bran extract, then you might know that's a protein containing product. And some products contain multiple protein ingredients, which can be a good thing. And the different types of protein, some of them are more soft, some of them are more strong. So what you want to do when you're experimenting yourself is if there's a product where you're like, wow, my hair is curly and strong, this really worked for me, look at which protein or proteins were in that product and make a note to yourself like, so hydrolyzed quinoa, that could be a good one for me, etc. In the notes for this video, I will include a recipe for a homemade protein treatment that you do prior to washing and conditioning on your wash day. It works very well. I also can recommend ready-made or purchased protein products that work very well. I've tried some myself. They work very well when I need a deeper protein treatment. Plus, I have favorite conditioners, masks, and styling products. So if you need recommendations on any of those, they are non-toxic. We'll work together to figure it out for your hair type. Just reach out to me, email or text message, and we'll see if we can find something that'll help you love your hair. Okay, so we've talked about not over moisturizing, getting just the right amount, and possibly adding additional protein into your routine. The right amount, again, not overdoing it. Now, the third area to fix too soft curls is where we're going to talk about adding texture to your hair. You do this with products. Most of them are styling products. And I'm going to break these up into different categories. So I'm going to talk about 3 ways to add texture to your hair. First though, what is this about texture? Well, we want to add texture or grit to your hair so it's not quite so slippery and soft. That will help you hang on to volume more. It really works if you get this right. The first product is a thickening lotion or a leave-in. I love this type of product. It is meant to go in your hair after you shampoo and condition. It's about the same place where you would do a leave-in conditioner if you're using a leave-in conditioner. So it's at the very beginning before layering on any styling products. And this type of thickening lotion actually coats your hair. Depending on the product you're using or the brand, it might give your hair a little bit of texture or grit, but its main purpose is to thicken your hair strands. They're going to grip better. They're going to be more substantial, so your hair is less likely to be flat and limp. It's more likely to be fuller and thicker. Now, I mentioned it might have a little bit of grit. This is not a bad grit, it's a nice grit. It's a grit that makes sure your hairs get kind of caught instead of slip and fall through, and that can help you hang on to volume. When I use it, I can feel it when I scrunch or feel my hair. My hair doesn't feel quite so slippery, and I like that, or I've learned to like that, because when I have a little bit of texture to my hair, I know I'm going to have more volume that day. So to me, it's turned into a good association. My hair just feels more substantial, not quite so soft and limp. Make sure you don't overdo if you try a thickening lotion, and if you need a recommendation, let me know. Second, mousse or foam products. Most people apply this when their hair is damp or wet. You can also apply it when it's dry. Personally, I have tried over and over and over again to use mousse when my hair is damp or wet, and I usually end up with too stiff and brittle hair. So to this day, I don't say it's the rest of my life because I'll continue to experiment. I haven't found a way to use mousse when my hair is damp or wet. The way I use mousse is applying it dry when I need more volume, when I need more hold, when I need more grit. So you can do both, experiment with both. Doing it damp or dry, a lot of people use it in the crown area for more volume. volume. Sometimes that can be too stiff or cause stringiness instead of soft curls up here. So others, they clump their curls with brush styling and or scrunching, and they've got gel and curl cream and leave-in in their hair already. They've got their curl clumps formed and they're glazing mousse on and kind of scrunching it in for additional hold prior to diffusing. So that's another way you can do it to add texture to your hair. The final way you can do it is to use mousse when your hair is nearly dry or dry and scrunch it in for additional texture. And like I said, I don't love mousse yet, but I'm going to show you how to do this. So I took that foam and I spread it all over my hands, and then it's simply scrunching it in gently so you don't introduce frizz. But this is going to give you some extra texture and hold to keep your hair up. Keep your hair with volume instead of falling limp. And I've never had a good relationship with mousse on the crown of my head, so I don't ever usually apply it there. If you're putting this in your hair in the process of diffusing, when your hair is nearly dry, you would scrunch it in and you would diffuse more to set it. Or you could do it on a non-wash day when you're refreshing with water and you're like, I just need a bit more hold, you can scrunch in mousse. There's lots of ways to use mousse, actually. It might be one of the most versatile hair products, but what I've found is you will come to find a way that works the best for you. So experiment with it, but mousse or foams can be very good for texture and grit and volume and hold. And the third way to add texture is with hairspray or texturizing hairspray, which is a hairspray that holds but also has texture ingredients built in. The texture ingredients will give your hair more of that grit or grip and just make it even more effective for fine or limp hair or soft curls. Now, I love both hairspray and texturizing hairspray. And so like I said, the hairspray is about hold, the texturizing hairspray is about hold and texture. If your hair already has plenty of volume and texture, just use the plain old hairspray. If you need some texture added, you can use the texturizing hairspray. See what I mean? When to apply it though? Usually texturizing sprays and hairsprays are done when hair is dry, but people do incorporate them into their diffusing routine, like halfway through or 80% into, just because while you're heat setting, while you're encouraging the curls to fully dry and scrunch, you're adding hold and or texture to the routine. I typically add my hairspray when my hair is 80 to 90% dry, and I definitely do it throughout the day or when my hair is fully dry just to get a little bit more bounce and volume. So here's how I apply hairspray. So I can do this when my hair is nearly dry, I'm still diffusing, and then I'll heat set it, but I also will just do it anytime when I need more hold. And I always take my glasses off so I don't get hairspray on them, and I close my eyes so I don't get hairspray in my eyes, even though the hairspray I use is non-toxic and doesn't have harmful fumes or anything. So anyway, I like to put hairspray inside. So I lift the hair so I get some in the middle, in between layers, all around. You could also tip your head upside down to get hairspray in those layers. I'm currently not doing much of that, if at all, because I'm going through neck therapy and I'm not quite to the point where I can do those things again. So I try to avoid it. Just lifting up so I can get into those layers works for me. And then once I've done that, I just kind of spray all around. So those are the products that will add texture to your hair. They all work great in combination with styling tools such as this, where you can kind of agitate and lift your roots so you can get some more volume in there while the products are just a little bit wet, or even if they've just left their gritty residue, then you're doing this and you're just encouraging the hairs to catch hold on one another. And I usually only do it at the root just because working with your hair a lot, you can introduce frizz. And I also don't feel like my curls love to stay. So I just don't want to disturb the curl clumps. And this is where I want the volume, especially right at my crown. So for me, using a tool like this, along with spray and the grit in my styling products, for me is the best combination just to get extra volume right here and make my hair not quite so flat and soft. So we've talked about over moisturizing, adding protein, and then adding texture products along with your styling routine. And all of this makes a huge difference when your hair is too soft. And again, we love soft hair, but we're talking about soft and limp curls and flat curls, and nobody wants to go that flat. So today my hair is actually pretty good. It's not super soft like it has been. And I think that's because I got the right amount of protein and hydration in my whole wash day routine this morning. So it ended up being pretty good. And then now just adding the mousse and the hairspray and raising up on my crown with the tool, I've got some nice extra volume. So I would say today is a good example. I'll include a clip here though of a couple days ago when I over moisturized. I used a leave-in cream prior to gel that was way too heavy, and so my curls were so limp that day. And those are the days when you need to use tips like I've shared here in this video. Now you can't go back and remove moisture and add more protein until your next wash day. Usually you can recover from too much protein in between wash days, but if it's a case of over moisturizing, basically you're looking at the next wash day. But you can make things definitely better if you incorporate texture products after the fact, like the mousse and the hairspray. Those will definitely help recover your hair on days when your curls are way too soft. Now I want to give you another bonus tip. This is when you've tried everything and you're basically just waiting for your next wash day. Maybe you overdid it on the mousse, or you just can't add enough to your hair to make up for how heavily it's moisturized and you basically just need to shampoo again and start fresh. That does happen. So if that's the case, then you're going to turn to how you're wearing your hair to cover for it. I like to use little tiny clips like this and just clip tiny amounts of hair back. And that way I get some lift right up here where it makes a difference and around my face. So little clips work great. Another thing you can do is use a Zazzy Bandz headband. This is a headband that fits like sunglasses, so no headache, and they're just fantastic. So you can see the ends of it curve, and I curve them back. I make sure it goes on curved back so they don't bump into my glasses. And you can pull all your hair back, you can pull just part of it, or you can leave a face framing curl and put the band in behind. But anyway, let me just show you how you can recover some volume by putting a fun headband in. So just put some of your hair back and it will lift, and then you'll get volume right around your face and right here where it's just more attractive. You'll feel better about yourself and that your hair doesn't feel quite so flat. I love these Zazzy Bandz. I have a coupon for you and a link if you check out the details with this video. This is plain black because I love plain black, but Zazzy Bandz has lots of colors and I've picked black variations here. These are fabric covered with silver stripes, silver swirls, and then a plain black, but they've got pink and purple and all kinds of designs. So be sure to check them out if you're not as plain as me. So I hope you've got some good tips in this video to help you recover from too soft of curls when you don't have enough volume and your hair is just flat and your curls are not as strong. For me, these tips have made all the difference so that my hair can get its full potential. Knowing my hair's difficulties, which I'm always going to tend toward fineness and lack of volume, I can definitely hang on to volume and have more bounce and stronger curls if I make sure not to over moisturize, if I incorporate protein, and then I also use styling products to add texture. You can find the right balance, and I really hope that these tips will help you to find the right balance. I would love to hear from you if you give any of these tips a try to see how they turned out for you. And I love pictures. If you're interested in trying out or getting more information about the non-toxic products that I love, use, and recommend, just reach out, email or text message, and I'll get back to you right away. Or if you want to see if it's even a good fit for you to work with me, I've got some quick questions you can go through, wardy.com/questions. That will give you an idea if it would be a good match, and we can take it from there. God bless you. Bye-bye.